Hi Gems, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is a love reading which will draw out 3 cards to have a look and see if there's someone that you're missing or potentially wanting to reconnect with, if this person will return to you. Now, it is a general reading, but it can be applicable to anyone that's considered an ex, anyone that you dated, that you were married to, anyone that was romantically connected to you. Even if you were seeing each other for a little bit, you just started dating, whatever this scenario is, I want you to meditate on this person, think about them, hold their image in your mind, and hopefully we can channel some energies and see if this person will in fact come back to you. Now, this reading can be for Gem, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. For private readings, all the information that you require is listed below in the Show More section. Otherwise, let's jump into it. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Will they come back? Will they come back to you? Will they make a comeback in your life? Will you hear from them? What is the potential around this for Geminis? Okay, let's start off with the Queen of Swords. Now, I feel like this is good news, and I say that because the Queen of Swords, can represent you, so your influence is coming up around them. I feel like they're still talking about you or thinking about you. Okay, so that's a good sign, Gems. They're either still talking to their friends or family, or somehow there's still something to do with communication. I think if you're still in communication with this person, there's a good sign that they might want to come back for commitment, okay? But the Queen of Swords, if you're not in communication with this person, the Queen of Swords can show that some sort of contact is going to be made here. Now, whether or not they come back for commitment, that's a different story. But I feel like it's a positive sign with the Queen of Swords that this person might make a direct approach or indirect approach towards you. So, because the Queen of Swords is the queen of communication, she rules anything to do with messages, emails, contacts, any sort of communicate, whether it's even non-verbal communication, so non-verbal cues, she rules that realm. And I think for a lot of you, this person is either talking to someone about coming back to you, Gemini, so they might pass a comment to a friend or maybe a mutual friend and say, look, I've been thinking about contacting this person. It's been a while. I just wanted to check in. So, or you might hear that this person is inquiring about you, which would show that there's still interest, at least on some level. So they might still care, okay? But I do feel like there is contact being initiated here. Now, in this deck, it almost looks like she's holding an archer's bow. So I feel like it's a more direct, like hit the target on the head approach. So I don't feel like it's an indirect. I feel for a lot of you it might be a more direct kind of message. Maybe a text, maybe online, maybe this person will start talking to you again, but I see some sort of reinitiated contact, okay? However, because the Seven of Wands has come up, there's hostility. So there's still anger or bitterness from this person, regardless of however things ended, or who ended it, or who went distant, or who pulled away. I'm not gauging that in this reading. This reading is more based on will they return. There is a possibility they will return, but they're still in defensive mode. Because the Seven of Wands, you can see the creatures here being protective, possessive, and hostile. So it could even be argumentative energy or opposition. Now, this could be in the sense where this person, although they might be asking friends, family members about advice, they're getting very conflicting advice, and they're trying to make up a decision, an opinion, form an opinion on their own about what to do in this scenario. But there's still anger. I feel like with there's anger or frustration, which the Seven of Wands can represent. Of course, the degree of anger or hostility is going to vary because each situation is quite different. So obviously, if you ended things really bitterly, this person is still bitter about it. Obviously, if things were more smooth running and you both agree that you weren't in the right mind frame or you weren't in the right stage of your lives and you sort of went your different ways, then okay, fair enough. But I feel with the Seven of Wands, it could indicate that there's protectiveness. So there could be someone still protecting themselves somehow. And maybe this is preventing them from coming back, at least in this point in time, to you. But the Seven of Wands can also be resistance. Okay, so in some ways they feel resistant. Maybe someone has even mentioned it to them, like, oh, do you still speak to so-and-so? Or have you spoken to them in a while? Or how's that going? It could be that there's resistance or even dread. And again, it's obviously going to vary based on the situation and how things disconnected between the two of you. So I want you to remember that, gems. However, there is dread or resistance here. So it could be that someone's dreading to, communicate. Like, say, for example, if you've reached out to someone and you haven't had a response, no response is a clear response, technically. The fact that they haven't made that communication, haven't reached out, speaks volumes of right now they're not in that space. Right now, their frequencies do not match up with yours. It's not, the conversation or the reinitiation is not meant to take place right now. So that's a clear response within itself. Maybe it's more a fire sign, maybe not, because it can be any element. All of us gems, we're dealing with different signs, around the world. So it's hard to gauge. But the thing is, the Eight of Wands is here. Now, the Eight of Wands is normally seen as a card of signs, synchronicities, symbols. But let's look at the imagery, because this is how I interpret my cards. I focus on the images. Yes, the symbolism behind these images, but the images primarily give me and us an understanding of what's taking place here. And in this deck, she is wishing upon a dandelion puff. And this is all about wishful thinking. In regards to the question, per se, will they come back? They might be wishing you to come back to them. Or they're wishing to make a comeback. Whichever way, there's wish fulfillment or attachment here. They're attaching wishes to you. And because the Eight of Wands is fire, it's all about getting things going again. Now, fire can also represent lust and passion. And for some of you, I feel like there might be someone coming back for the physical, for the lust, for the affection, for the sex. And of course, you'll be able to gauge that situation and know if this person is back for those things. So it can, in some ways, it can indicate someone's wishing for the physical attraction to you once again. Someone's wishing to be by your side. They're willing to reconnect with you in a physical sense, okay, in some regard. But for others, it's deeper than that, okay? Just because it's the wands, it doesn't mean there isn't substance to it. It doesn't mean there's no credence, because she wishes on the dandelion puff, and it's almost like she looks up longingly into the sky, and this gives me the impression that someone is dwelling on this wish. It's not just like, oh, I wish I could have this person, I wish I could just sleep with them for a night or just encounter them or see them again. It's more than that. It's the dreamlike imagery captured in this card indicates to me that someone is fantasizing, or someone is wishing to come back, but there's resistance about how to do it. But like I said, I think there's good news, because there's some sort of contact that's going to be made, whether it is direct or whether it is indirect, Gemini. I do feel like there's someone who's going to make a comeback. They're wishing for it, and it's almost like the universe might give you an opportunity to reinitiate contact. Whether it happens actively, someone reaching out, calling you, messaging you on Instagram, on Facebook, or whether it's you bump into each other, but it's divine orchestration here. So on some level, I do feel there is a connection of them, or there's high potential for this person to come back to you. But for how long? Of course, that's a different story. So each situation will be different. In fact, maybe I need to do a reading to see if they will come back for a commitment in future. So keep an eye out on that. But otherwise, I do hope this reading has helped, Gemini. I hope it's given you some sort of food for thought. I do hope things work out exactly how you want them to. But like I said, if you were after a personalized reading for yourself and your own situation, all the information that you require is listed below in the show more section. Otherwise, I will catch you next weekend. So have a fantastic week, and ciao for now.